Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. And today I'm going to give a preview of tonight's podcast, a preview on what we're going to be speaking about, what we're talking about. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe. And welcome to my new subscribers. I hope you find value here. I hope you find things that will help you in your daily life and help you to achieve the dreams and desires and visions that you have within yourself. So let's get going. Today, it's a beautiful, sunny summer day in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, had some terrible storms the other night. I'll tell you how bad it was. I was sitting here enjoying the power of the wind and the storm and the rain, and all of a sudden, I felt the house move. I thought, well, we better go downstairs. And this old house has been here since 1875. It's a solid house. So when this sucker starts moving, I better start moving. So I went to the basement, took the kids, went to the basement. It was okay. A lot of trees went down, had some roads closed because of the trees across the roads, but hey, we all made it. Nobody got hurt. So here we will begin with some famous quotes from people about the power of thoughts. And our first one is from author Sidney Madwed. It says, "Our subconscious minds have no sense of humor, play no jokes, and cannot tell the difference between reality and an imagined thought or image. What we continually think about eventually will manifest in our lives." So what you got to ask yourself is this: what am I thinking about continually? Not a passing thought, not like, okay, you're driving down the road and someone cuts you off and you think, I wish that SOB would have an accident. That's not going to manifest right away. I mean, it could happen if you were that powerful, but few people are. There may be some people in the world like that. I've never met any. Okay, but what you think about continually. Here's what I see as an example for the guy cutting you off driving. I meet a lot of people who talk about all the crazy drivers out there. So they're continually thinking about all the idiots and crazy drivers, as they call them, when they get in the car and drive. And guess what? They see what they believe. Because I drive, I don't see any crazy drivers. Occasionally I'll get cut off by someone who probably didn't see me there. No one actually wants to have an accident or cause problems for someone else. They're busy thinking about themselves. So that's what I see. Sure, there's been some people that seem like they were driving a little erratic, but each of us have driven erratic in our lives too. So I don't see all these crazy idiot drivers, but these people do. Now, I'm not talking about these people like they're bad people or there's something wrong with them, but they focus on all the terrible drivers that are out there. And guess what? That's what they see. Because you see what you believe. You don't necessarily believe what you see. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is by Carrie Green. "She knew the power of her mind and so programmed it for success." Programmed her mind for success. Well, who's programming your mind? Think about that. Who is programming your mind? What kind of input is going in there? It's either something from the outside, which is, they say we receive something like 6,000 advertisements a day. We don't consciously recognize them. I find that hard to believe, but that's what the statistics say. But they all go into our subconscious mind. And guess what the agenda is from those advertisers? It's their agenda. They want you to consume, or they want you to be afraid. And if they want you to be afraid, like the news, they want you to consume their product, which is more news. So they keep you fearful, so you continue to watch it, and they continue to put more fear into your life. Fear is one of the most destructive things that you can have. It will stop you from achieving everything you desire. It will paralyze you. So why allow someone to program your mind with more things to make you afraid of, when we really can't believe if it's true or not? We really don't know. And why do we need to know? Some people say, well, you need to be informed. I don't watch the news and I know what's going on. I know everything I need to know. I don't need to know if 15 children were brutally killed and cut up into pieces and thrown in the South China Sea. Why is that going to benefit me? There's nothing I can do about that. Sure, it's a tragic thing, but why do I need to know about it? It doesn't affect me. It's senseless, really. There have been terrible things happening in the world since time began. But you would have a lot of people tell you that the world's going to hell. No, it's the same as it's always been. I mean, back in Alexander the Great's days, he would invade a nation and destroy all the the men, and a lot of the women and children he would take for slaves. So I don't think we have that going on in the biggest part of our world today, and that was the known world back then. So how can you say things are getting worse? No, they're the same. But we didn't have CNN back in Alexander's days. Now we do. 24 hours a day, constant tragedy, negativity, never anything. Well, I'll say never. But 99% is all about things they want you to be afraid of, because fear sells. Okay, let's move on. Something a little more inspirational. Number 2, Dennis Waitley. He's a author, and I've read a couple of his books. An author. If you believe you can, you probably can. If you believe you won't, you most assuredly won't. Belief is the ignition switch that gets you off the launching pad. Henry Ford said something similar. If you think you can, you're probably right. And if you think you can't, you're probably right. Both ways you are correct. I'm having a little trouble speaking this morning for some reason. I got a good night's sleep last night. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, let's continue. Number 3, Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite authors. He's passed on now, but I still read some of his books over and over again. There are some books that I have read and listened to over 100 times because I consciously program my mind with what I want in there. You've heard the old expression, junk in, junk out. Well, guess what? Good stuff in, good stuff out. If you're thinking the same thoughts you thought yesterday, you need to put in some new information. Put something in there that's going to help you, that's going to build you up. Okay. What we think determines what happens to us. So if we want to change our lives, we need to stretch our minds. Wayne Dyer. Stretch our minds, expand our minds. The kingdom of heaven is within you. One of the definitions of heaven is, I think it's Uranus, which means expansion. You have to expand yourself. Just forget about the religious aspect. Heaven, expansion. The kingdom of expansion is within you. And how can you expand if you don't put anything new within yourself? If you allow society and the media, mainstream and social media, to feed you, to feed your inner man or woman, if that be the case. Number 4, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition, consistency, it's just like going to the gym. You're not going to work out one day and see a change. You're not going to do affirmations or read a book or listen to a video or a tape. You don't have tapes anymore. CD, those are outdated. MP3, that's gone. Whatever we have now. And change in one day. Emotion will one day become a reality. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition, and emotion will one day become a reality. Earl Nightingale, he's like the father of motivational mind altering in a good way, success motivation techniques. The Strangest Secret. You might listen to that one on YouTube. And that's another thing. There's so much valuable information on YouTube. Yeah, there's some trash out there, but there's so many things. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, it says, "Walk with wise men, and you too shall become wise." Okay? If you can't walk with wise men, which that's more difficult, you can get on YouTube and find the wisdom that you need in whatever the direction of your desires are pushing you, and listen to these people over and over and over again. You can keep their company by listening to their videos. And guess what? It's free. Unless you have YouTube Premium, which I do, because I cut out the commercials. I do not listen to commercials. Do you understand why? Because they have an agenda, and it's for me to consume. They want me to consume. And that's why, if you see here in the States, we have many, many, many people who are overweight, unhealthily overweight, because constantly they're being programmed to consume more, to do more, to have more, to be more, but to be more by consuming their products, whether that be buying a car, clothes, shoes, food, drink, beer, whatever it happens to be. The message they're sending is, if you buy our products, you will feel better, you will be better. And that is a lie. You don't. You may feel an exhilaration for a moment, but any lasting change or fulfillment comes from within. Generally, I believe, comes from service to humanity. Not from buying or drinking or eating or whatever it happens to be, from consuming the products that the commercials, the agenda that they push on you. So you have a choice. You don't have to listen to that. You don't have to watch it. I know it's more difficult nowadays. I was at the gas station filling up the other day, and they got a TV in front of me. I had to walk away from the pump while it was pumping, just so I wouldn't listen or couldn't hear what they were saying. But it's very important. I saw this poster on a wall once. I was at a meeting, and it had an eagle and a wolf. It was an old Indian saying, and the little Indian, the child, was asking the old grandfather. He said, I feel as though I have a wolf and an eagle inside of me. Which one will rule? And the old grandfather says, the one that you feed the most. So what are you feeding? What are you feeding? Are you watching porn every day, over and over and over again? That will get you nowhere. I have nothing against porn. I've watched it before. I don't watch it now, but I can see how it is addicting to people, okay? It doesn't do anything for me. When I was a kid, they had stag movies, okay? And it's like pornography, but it was on an old type film projector. It's like, if I can't be with the woman, I really find no pleasure in watching it. But many of our young people today have difficulty being with a girl because they become somewhat addicted to porn. They're desensitized by porn. And once again, that is a message coming from somebody else with an agenda. They want you to watch their pornography. They want you to consume more of their pornography. And I guess buy it or something. I guess a lot of it's free. I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about it. I haven't dwelled much into that. But just like gambling, I can understand, without actually partaking in it heavily, how it is addicting, because it does give you a certain feeling. Okay. If constructive thoughts are planted, positive outcomes will be the result. Plant the seeds of failure, and failure will follow. Sidney Madwed. Exactly. Are you thinking about success, or are you thinking about failure? Whichever one you persistently dwell upon will come to pass in your life. Yes, thoughts are things. Yes, thoughts precede your actions. Thoughts precede everything that happens and comes to you in your life. Affirmations work, but as I said, it's like the gym. If you go to the gym and do 2 curls a day and come home, what do you think is going to happen? Probably not much. Well, guess what? If you do affirmations for a week or 2 weeks or twice a day for 5 minutes, what do you think is going to happen? Probably not much. It takes time to build the muscle of your mind. You cannot not think something. You have to replace the negative thought with a positive thought. And when you say the affirmation and you say it with feeling, Many of us put so much emphasis when we complain about something, and I'm as guilty of that as anyone. So I know I'll get to talking about something I don't like, and I'll catch myself putting so much emotion and energy into that. That is creating more of what I don't want. If you're complaining about things, that's just asking for more of what you don't want. I know sometimes it's really hard. I went downstairs last night, got ready to leave, and nobody did the dishes. I just I have 6 kids here, and sometimes they sit around all day and they do nothing. But that's how kids are, right? But we had spoken about keeping the house clean, so I got a little upset. It's like I wanted so bad to say something negative. I didn't. I might have said 1 or 2 words negative. I left. I grabbed a small piece of steak, ripped it off because I couldn't find any utensils. I ate it and went to a meeting, okay? So I felt better when I got home and they had the house clean and I was able to eat. But so many times we focus and talk about what we don't want. We are critical. When I say we, I'm talking about myself too. Critical. Criticism will stop the flow of abundance or whatever it is that you desire into your life. And it's so easy to be critical about others, critical about situations, critical about the current health situation in the world today. We have to look for the good in everything. And something in among all this, there is something good. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't found it yet, but we must seek it. And if we catch ourselves, complaining, we need to stop complaining and think about something good. And if you can't think about something good in whatever situation is bothering you, think about your desires, about what you want in life. We spend too much time as a society with the news and the media, as I said before, focusing on what we don't want, and we get more of what we don't want. It's a psychological principle that whatever you focus on grows in your experience. Number 6. The greatest force is derived from the power of thought. The finer the element, the more powerful it is. The solid power of thought influences people even at a distance, because mind is one as well as many. The universe is a cobweb. Minds are spiders. Swami Vivekananda. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but that's a good one. I've never heard that one before. Number 7. Reality is a projection of your thoughts or the things you habitually think about. Stephen Richards. I don't know him, but he's probably an author. Let me adjust my camera just a little bit here. Okay. Number 8. I found that when you start thinking and saying what you really want, yes, speak about what you want, think about what you want. Don't talk about what you don't want. That's complaining, and you bring more of that into your life. And I struggle with that as much as anybody. What you really want. Then your mind automatically shifts and pulls you in that direction. And sometimes it can be that simple. Just a little twist in vocabulary that illustrates your attitude and philosophy. Jim Rohn. I like Jim Rohn. I think he's the one who said, and I can't quote him verbatim, if you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, you will never want for money. And I believe that's true. He may also have quoted this one. You'll never get more than you're getting paid now until you do more than you're getting paid for now. Now that's something to think about. I have practiced that, and it's like magic. Always do more than you're getting paid for. Now, if you work for a company or boss and you're not self-employed like I am, you may find that difficult, and you may feel you're unappreciated and nobody cares. The boss doesn't notice, and he may not notice. But the big boss always notices, whether that be God, the universe, divinity, nature, whatever your perception of that is, that doesn't go unnoticed. You cannot give more value into the world that will not come back to you multiplied. Not sure if I said that right, but the more value you put out, the more comes back to you. And it doesn't come back to you in the same proportion you put it out. It comes back to you multiplicatively. Now, I have practiced that. I know that from personal experience. And if you look on YouTube and on the internet or books, anywhere, you can find that this works for many, many, many people. Many successful people will tell you the same thing. You have to put value out into the world. Quit thinking about what you're going to get out of something. Think about what you can give, what service you can provide, how you can provide your service better. Wonder what that was. Somebody dropped something. Okay. Let me see. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. You have to change your thinking before your outer world will change. And you can do that. But it takes a strong willpower. That's where willpower comes into use, I'll say, for use. We have to use that willpower to keep our thoughts on what we want. And then our actions will correspond. I have about concluded that wealth is a state of mind, and that anyone can acquire a wealthy state of mind by thinking rich thoughts. Andrew Young. I don't know him either, but that's a good quote. Number 11. In your hands will be placed the exact results of your thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Whatever your present environment may be, you will fail, remain, or rise with your thoughts, your wisdom, desire, as great as your dominant aspiration. James Allen, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Great book. I suggest you read that. Your thoughts control your future, your destiny. What do you think the difference is between Alexander the Great, Mark Antony of Rome, than you? They believed in themselves. They thought they could do it. They had to think they could do it. The thought had to proceed. They had to believe they could be the rulers that they were. Napoleon, these great leaders, Theodore Roosevelt, George Washington, Andrew Jackson, any of those men. They had to believe in themselves. They had to believe in the power of the vision within them before they could ever become that. Do you think George Washington could have been the first president of the United States by thinking he was worthless, by telling himself that he was stupid, or by calling himself dumb every time he made a mistake? No. Be careful what you say to yourself. Those are actually the most important things that come into your mind. What are you talking about yourself when you make a mistake? Would you speak to your best friend that way? Probably not. So quit berating yourself. Mistakes are just valuable learning opportunities. Remember that. Don't call yourself stupid, dumb, or any of the other derogatory remarks that people say to themselves. It's self-destructive. All right, number 12. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Albert Einstein, most of us know who he is. Let's read that one again. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement, to change, to refine, to make better. Everyday thinking. Everyday thinking. Think about what you are thinking about. So important. What are the thoughts in your head? In the secret place. Only you know what goes on in there. You are the ruler of that kingdom within yourself. And this kingdom, ruled properly, will create an outer world magnificent and beautiful in your life. But ruled improperly will create destruction, despair, discouragement, disillusion, depression, and an ad infinitum number of terrible things that you don't want. Don't think about terrible things. That's what I said. Don't watch the news. Unless it's your job, don't watch the news. Look for good, wonderful, exciting, fantastic, loving things to feed yourself with. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is lovely, whatever is worthy of praise. Think on these things. I always put this disclaimer in here. I'm not a religious man, okay? But I find wisdom in some of these old books, okay? Good things in there. All right, number 13. It's not the situation that causes your stress. It's your thoughts, and you can change that right here and now. You can choose to be peaceful right here and now. Peace is a choice, and it has nothing to do with what other people do or think. Gerald G. Pulaski, MD. Don't know who he is, but that's a good quote. All right, I got to stop here on number 13. Maybe we'll do the rest later. Remember, join us for the podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday evening. All right, I'm going to go. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you, because who am I doing this for? Myself? Yes, I am. But I do it for you, and it comes back to me multiplied. If I can inspire you, I'm inspired twice as much. So yes, I'm selfish. So I satisfy my selfish need of feeling good by the intent of making you feel better and giving you some tools to use in your life. All right, I gotta go. See you later.